welcome to Art Day. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. It's time to do some artwork. But before I start, here's a tiny little, hopefully, I'm sorry, excuse. If you hear the fan in the background blowing, I really hope I'm able to get it out of the audio stream when I'm editing this video. I really hope. If I'm not able, I'm so sorry. I have to have the fan running. It's one of those really hot days. It's 10 in the morning and it's almost 30. It's 29.5 degrees centigrade, which is 84, almost 85 Fahrenheit. And it's one of those really hot days, and I have to have the fan running. It's supposed to be 35 degrees Celsius today, which is 95. So I'm gonna melt nonetheless, but I'm gonna do some artwork while I do so. And today I thought I worked in my magazine journal. So earlier this year I worked in this one and made this page. I already marked the next one that I want to do in this particular one, but not today. And then I do have this magazine journal where I made this one, and there's also 3 more marked that I want to do, 3 more pages that I want to work with. Like, for example, this one here. This is what I want to work with, and there's a topic already. So I want to work in another one today, though. Just wanted to show you these pages. You can watch along on the Art Day playlist if you like to see how they came together. But today I'm working in the 3rd big magazine journal that I have, and I want to work with this page here. So there we go. And the note that I wrote myself was crocodile or snake. So I thought this page has a really beautiful photograph, as you can see. So I don't want to do too much to cover things up. And I have my hand fan here with me. I have to have that going. So again, I'm sorry if I cannot edit this out. I hope it doesn't annoy you, but I didn't want to do too much to this page in regards to covering things up, because I think this photograph is really beautiful and I do like that colorful bird, and there's only a tiny little text, so here, here, and here, and I thought it would be cool if I had just painted an animal in, and the bird is either sitting on the tongue of a snake or on the snout of a crocodile or alligator. So that is what I thought I would change this page to, and this is what I want to do today. So I just have a few brushes and acrylic paints with me that I'm going to work with, but before I finally decide which animal I want to have, I have to, that's also, that's beautiful. This is actually an art magazine. It's called Art. So there's lots of beautiful things in here, beautiful pages that I really like to work with and alter the pages to the stage that I fancy, or I think this is something nice. Some pages need nothing to add. There's one of Paul Gauguin in here, or pages like this that almost needs nothing, maybe needs a tiny little gimmick down here. But there's one I gotta show you. There's one in here of like a big article about Gauguin. Here we go. I think that's the book. No, it was not. Was it? Was it the next one? But those pages really don't need anything. Here, this is, yeah, it was the same magazine, the 3rd one. So also this hardly needs anything, or this really stunning already, or that you don't really need to add anything. But then there's pages where you definitely can add whatever you feel like. So I'm taking those pages. And I'm going to start. I think I want to have the snake. Just find that more interesting because the bird here has a bit of red in his feather or its feathers, and I could have like a snake with the opened mouth and it's the bird sits on the tongue and have the red come up again. So it's gonna be a snake. A snake, which means I'm going to start sketching it. This is something that I sometimes like to do. So I just have a marker here. So how do I want that snake? Let's start with the tongue. It's maybe a bit easier. Maybe it's a bit easier. So let's have the birdie sit on the tongue. It's gonna roll or something. Something like this. And then we do have the lower part of the snake here. It's all lower part of the snake mouth. Something like this. And then go. I actually need to cover a bit more because of those words. So there we go. And then there's a tooth here. And maybe a tooth here, something like this. And then we have Snakey Dakey. Something like that. And then there's going to be like the eye. Something like this. And then I'm going to blacken things out here so that there's a little bit of black that covers this part up here. But I think that wouldn't be too shitty. So I would also black out things here to get rid of that part. All right, so let's start actually with that. Let's start with the black. I'm using the Schminke colors today. Put them on the palette. I hope they don't dry to me too fast. It's fine if they dry fast, but I don't want them to dry too fast. So I need a medium stiff brush. Actually, I like this one. So I'm taking a bristle brush. It has seen better days, but that's fine. And I just have a bit of black on my palette here. Sorry, I can't have that in camera, but otherwise you cannot see anything on what I'm painting. So I am just going to cover up that word here, and I'm going to have this feathering out thing happening. And I'm having these protective papers underneath my page so that I don't glue anything together by accident if I have a little bit of paint on one corner. So, and I can go solidly to the lines in this part here. Just needed the feathering out where the tongue happens. But actually, good thing about acrylics, you can layer them, and that means that I don't have to think about, okay, I have to paint around the tongue. No, I can layer the red on the black later on, and it's gonna be totally fine. So need to push in the paper a bit more towards the spine. There we go. There is that side done, and now I can do the same thing up here. Just to paint out the text. And that's a really cheap way to, well, cheap meaning non-expensive way to recycle something or do some art journaling or magazine book altering, whatever you want to call it. Because, well, you probably bought that magazine anyways to read it, and once you're done, well, you can have all the pages that you like altered. So I think that's kind of cool. All right, brush into the water because I'm gonna change up the brushes now, and I need red. I'm going to take cat red hue and primary magenta. Going to put both of them onto my palette. I will have all the exact colors that I used, oh gosh, on my blog post for this particular page, so you don't have to remember. You don't have to write anything down. It's all going to be there. So I'm going to take these two colors and another brush. I need a smaller one now. Let's get the smaller brushes. I want... Don't have any medium. Oh, there it is. This is a good one. Good size. So this is another flat that I'm going to use here, and I'm mixing up the magenta and the cad red. Mixing them together. Then I can, it's maybe a bit too much on the brush. And I can start giving the tongue the first layer. You can see here that reds are kind of transparent, especially the magenta one. But I don't mind this being the first layer and all. I'm going to go for it, give it a solid layer of red. And then I'm gonna come back and add a second layer. Good thing about it being so hot in my studio is that I can actually probably have this page dry pretty fast without using a blow dryer. Because it's just so warm that the acrylics dry almost immediately on the paper. So let's see. There's tongue, 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 tongue. Going to add some mixing white to the second layer, which will help with the transparency issue with the red, but also it will maybe have some nice speckles and stuff going on. So I'm using mixing white, which will not make this color tone like milky, like titanium white would, but a mixing white actually just lightens up the color. That's really cool. What I'm also going to do, I'm going to take a lot of the mixing white and a tiny little bit of that red that I still had in my brush, and I'm going to start painting the gums of the snake, because they need to be painted too. And the pen that I used here is not permanent. As you can see, I can smudge it, which I think actually helps in this case, because I can have a natural light shadow situation be going on. I need to have several layers to paint out the text, but that is totally fine. And I'm not trying to blend out my brush strokes too much, because I actually like that texture. So I'm gonna use it to my advantage and incorporate it into the artwork. Few more of the lights. So here, more light. Less of a pink tone. Okay. And the same goes for the underneath part of the gums, so that would be here, underneath the tongue. And also here. Then I'm going to bring in a smidge of black, just a very little bit. And that will give me a darker, almost purpley kind of a red. Or a brownish one, depending which one I'm taking. If I take the primary magenta one, it gets more of a purpley red. And if I take the cad red, it's gonna be more like a brown, but just some toned down color here, where we do have the shadows in the mouth of the snake, maybe a little bit here. Also underneath the tongue I'm going to apply a bit of that color, just to Alrighto. Now I can go in with the second layer of the red for the tongue of the snake. And I'm mixing a lot of the warm cat red with a little bit of mixing white. Not much. But just a bit. I'm going in for the second layer. Also cleaning up a bit of my edges here. And I'm leaving kind of the space where the bird is and the mouth, because that will cast a shadow, so I don't actually need to paint that part. And I also, you can see I left a bit of a thing here, and I'm going to shade that now. Do I want, yeah, I want colors. So instead of using brown or black now to shade, I'm going to use Prussian blue, which is a warm blue. And it is, in the acrylics, it is one of my favorite colors for shading. So I'm mixing it in with the warm red. Which actually will make it like a purple. And ooh, shouldn't touch the still wet paper. And I'm going in to paint the lower part here of the tongue and have like a shadow going on. I'm also going to use the same purple here, just to, well, give the tongue a bit of a dimension. Have it look a little bit more 3D, less flat. More. Ooh, no. Okay, I can clean that up later. I can give it another little bit of black. But yeah, don't throw your brush everywhere, folks. That's, yeah, maybe don't do that. Okay. A little more of that purple onto my brush. And now I can also shade the top of the tongue here, because underneath the bird there is going to be a shadow, and underneath the top of the mouth, there's also gonna be a shadow. I forgot to paint the gums there. I have to do that later. For now, I'm just going to do the tongue shading. That's a very technical term, folks. So yeah, I had really craved going on and painting another page in my magazine journal. I know it's been quite a while since I've done that, but there were so many projects that I wanted to do and that I had to finish that were timely. So I had the magazine journal or the art journal bit like on the back burner, so to say. But now that I have finished quite a few projects, actually, I'm very happy that I do have time to play with these journals, maybe a bit more on ArtDay. I'm also going to add a smidge of black to the dark purple that I painted this layer in, because here I want a really dark color. Because the snake's mouth is really dark. There's a lot of shadow, especially the bird casting another shadow onto this section here, onto the tongue. I thought a bit of a contrast would be nice. And with the style that I'm painting here, I'm kind of exaggerating light and shadow a bit and having more of an illustration-y kind of way to paint, like how I handle my brush strokes and stuff. But sometimes, depending on what magazine you're having, the paper actually might be a little bit tricky to be painted in comparison to canvas, for example. So not to rip the paper or have too much work and pressure going on that glossy but still very fragile paper. I like to sometimes, well, be a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not as delicate with my brush strokes, but get color down with more of the broader strokes, but then I don't have to go in like 500 times, which could always rip and tear the paper, which I don't want. A bit more dark here. Don't worry, I'm gonna go in with another layer of the pure red, but I need a bit of a dark here and here. All right, now I have to clean my brush. And then I can go in with another layer of the cat red. And while I do that, let me ask you, what are you working on? Are you working on artwork while you're watching this? Are you doing something else like chores, housework? What is it that you're doing, and what is your current art project that you're working on? Not necessarily while watching this video, but maybe this week. I would very much enjoy you letting me know what you are doing, because I find it always very inspiring to hear what other artists are doing, and then it sparks my own ideas and stuff sometimes. So I wonder if you have the same thing going on. A bit more red. It's maybe a bit too white here, so let's tone that down. And have that part of the tongue done. And I need a little bit of black to have like an outline going on here. But just where the tongue meets the gums, I think. I don't need it somewhere else. Not for now, at least. But speaking of gums, I could paint them in. The ones that I had forgotten. The back of the mouth. Gums, gums, gums. Color is here. Okay. A bit more of a magenta. There we go. That's more like it. So giving it another layer of gum color underneath the tongue here. And also here. And I need to go in here and add a bit more. Could still see the text quite a bit. So I need a bit of the dark purpley color to set aside, or to, well, have a bit of a contrast between the part of the snake's mouth where you have a light, the part where you don't. Because not everywhere there's light. Clean that off and go in with light gum colors to have everything pulled together. All right, going to let this dry, and meanwhile I'm going to mix the green for the snake. So I think a good combination for the background and also the bird is there's a lot of yellow and green in the bird, and I already have the blue and the red mirrored in my snake, so I think a green snake would be really cool. So I'm going to take where is I forgot to get a new turquoise, it seems. Let's get to the box of resupplies. There it is, new tube of turquoise. which is almost, or which is already like a yellowish blue. It almost goes to the green, so that makes it actually really easy to be mixed with lemon yellow and make for a nice almost appley green there, or a limey green. So I'm having the turquoise, having lemon yellow. Looks cool already. And I need a new brush, maybe. Do I? Yeah, I don't want the black one. So I'm taking another flat brush. It's a bristle brush, another one that has been pretty much worked a lot. But, well, I like to work with this particular brush. It's really good for landscape, actually, for grass or bushes and stuff. So let's see. Booyah, that's a nice green. But I'm going to add a little bit of yellow ochre. It's so the lemon yellow is pretty transparent, and the cut yellow, the warm tone, is also going to be transparent. So I'm not gonna take another tone that's gonna be transparent and not really as opaque to go like in 2 or 3 layers, but I could add a bit of the light ochre, which is also a yellowish tone, and that is actually quite opaque. So I can mix that in and have maybe a bit more of an earthy green going on, but also it's actually gonna be quite the opaque color, should be. Let's see. Yeah, it's more of a dark green tone, like a almost like an olive green, but I have enough of the old green mixture here, so it's actually getting more to the grass green or forest green. I'm going to have some yellow speckles, I think, later on. Let's just actually also ignore the eye. Just going to give it a solid green layer, just to get rid of text and stuff. And then I can work on top and add a bit more detail and difference in color. Like the under part of the snake here, I would like to do a bit more yellowish, so I'm going to take quite a bit of lemon yellow already on my brush. Page wants to curl on me because I, well, have put down quite a bit of paint, but if I hold it down I should be fine. Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna give this a very quick blast with my blow dryer, and then I'm gonna come back and add a bit more color to it. Okay, that should be fine. Let's clean out my brush. And then I'm going to add pure lemon yellow with whatever rest of green I do have in my brush down here. Feather it out. And then go for a new brush, smaller one. Oh, that's maybe a bit too stiff. Oh, that's better. Just need a smaller one to control it better. So I kind of want the rim of the mouth be lemon yellow. And a bit more lemon yellow here. And on the top part I want to be a bit more turquoise. For the rim, just forgot the other side of the lower jaw, so I need to add a bit of lemon yellow here. And I think I want like this kind of pattern. But not all blue, but also lemon yellow and light ochre. Not gonna take care of where I'm gonna put the eye exactly. I can always paint that on top. Okay, now clean the brush and go in with lemon yellow. I think it might be a bit much, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a bigger brush and I'm just gonna have another solid layer of the green. Don't really like the stipples. Thought I would like them more, but well, doesn't matter, because with acrylic paint you can layer, which is a pretty cool thing. Okay, and some more pure lemon yellow for the front here. Okay, so I gotta let that dry and then I can paint in the eye. But while I let it dry, I will take a top look of my painting so far, because I'm working with a bit of a glare, so sorry for my hat maybe being in the way. Okay. All right. I can add a bit of the Prussian blue. Just here. Be a bit careful. Also, I have to have another line with the lemon yellow. I just saw that I also forgot this part of the gums here to be lemon yellow. I think, and another layer of that line, just to make it a bit more prominent, maybe a bit more cartoony, something like this. Because not only birds are colorful, snakes could be too. At least in my book. Pun kind of intended. All right, got that. What I also want to do is have a bit of a black outline for the tongue. Maybe a bit more of the black outline, I should say. Because it's so warm, the colors are already drying on my palette. But that is okay, I think. Okay. I'm also gonna paint the feet of the bird with yellow ochre in a hot minute, but first I want to finish the outline of the tongue. Okay. Gotta let that dry for a second. Since my green is also not dry, I'm going to apply a blast with my blow dryer just to speed things up. I think my snake is a bit too narrow, so I'm going to paint a bit more green on the top. So I'm taking the big brush, lemon yellow, turquoise, and I'm going to go a bit higher. Something like this. I think I like that angle a bit more. Also gives me a bit more space to draw in the eye. So yep, that's more like it. I'm now going to draw in the feet. I'm using the yellow ochre for that. I'm going with something like that. A little bit of the Prussian blue, just to be able to shade a bit. And then I'm going to extend the black from the outside, from the outline of the tongue to go underneath the second foot, because for whatever reason didn't have in the second foot. Weird. Bit more of the Prussian. It's maybe a bit too much. That's more like it. Okay. And then I can actually go ahead and paint the teeth. And then I can dry this off and go in with that's maybe a bit of a stiff brush, but well, then I can go in and paint the eye. But first I'm taking the mixing white that I still have left on my palette, and I'm just going in for the first layer of the teeth. Gonna dry this off, and then I can second layer of white for the teeth. For the upper part, I'm going to mix light ochre with the mixing white, just to too much on my brush, just to a bit of a color difference there. Also, it helps with the 3D effect to have kind of like a shadow color going on. Same for the other tooth. And then I'm going to take a little teeny tiny bit of pure yellow ochre for that section here. Just a smudge. Okay. Next up, I need to paint the eye. I'm going first with, where is it? Where's my brush? There it is. I want to go first with the mixing white. I'm probably gonna need 2 or 3 layers of white before I can paint in the iris and the pupil. But that is fine. Just going to take white and want this to be something like this. Dry this off because I'm impatient. Let's have another layer of that mixing white. To have it really as opaque as I can get it. Dry this off and then I think I can go for the pupil and the iris and stuff. Okay, so for the iris, I want to have the cat yellow, so the warm yellow mixed. Ooh, and now I made a mess. Let me clean up the mess quickly. So for the pupil, I want a mixture of the warm yellow, so the cat yellow, and the light ochre. I just need a smudge of the cat yellow, not too much, because, well, there's only so much space that I need to color here. I need brush. And I want to have the yellow ochre also as an outline for the eye. So I'm going to do that first. Then I'm going to mix a little bit of the cat yellow, which is quite transparent, with a little bit of the yellow ochre, which is not transparent. And that should help putting down some color here. First layer. Again, I'm gonna dry this off. And then I'm gonna add pure cat yellow. A little more yellow. Okay. Then a little bit of Prussian blue. Warm blue and warm yellow always go nice next to each other. I'm just going a little more blue. Was a little too few pigment on my brush here. I think I like the blue better than the yellow ochre. I'm gonna dry this off, and then I'm going to add the black slit pupil. Okay. Need my brush, clean it up, damp it to dry, and I'm going to take the black and have it on my angle brush and just paint in the slid. Okay, and now I'm going to take the Prussian blue again, and I'm gonna give the pupil here, or the iris, an outline. Just a bit, too much water. I'm gonna do the blue here. Some speckles in the snake's eye. It's a weird snake. She's not eating the bird, she's pretty much the chauffeur for the bird around the jungle. So I'm going to completely dry this off now, and then I'm going in with a white, what's it called, this one here, an edding. It's a permanent marker, light fast, weatherproof, gloss paint marker. That's what it's called. And I want to have some outlines done, but for that I have to have the acrylics really dry. Alright, so I can take those papers off. I don't think. Glued the page a little bit to my paper. That's fine. Still could save it. So I don't need these anymore. Now I can go in and outline my design here on my painting. So gonna give it a solid white outline, because I think that will set it apart from the background a bit better. Because otherwise it might just be a little too busy. It also enhances the cartoon style, I think, which wouldn't be a bad thing in my case here. So I'm also going to outline the bird that I have here, because I think with all that color I'm kind of losing that bird. Then I'm going to let this book sit open for about 48 hours. So I want to make sure that this really dries. And sometimes it dries to the touch, but it's kind of sticky. And then when you close your book at that stage, it might be that you still glue pages together, or you have that ripping noise going on, which I'm not very fond of when you want to reopen the book. So I just actually let the book sit for like 48 hours before I close it, and I have a piece of copy paper in between the two pages here. So since I have quite the hot studio in summer, it could be that some materials that I use get a bit sticky when it's too hot, and just so that I don't have anything ripping later when I want to reopen the book, I'm gonna have a piece of copy paper in between the two pages, which I found so far really helped. So now that's a bit tricky here. So I'm not going to have any white line here in the crack of the book or the magazine, because it will just look weird when you open the book and there's a white line but you cannot see the end of the wing of the bird. So I'm just not gonna do it. Sometimes less is more. Alright, let's take a look. I have to stand up for that, otherwise I have a little bit of a glare going on with my filming lights. Also look in the camera screen. Yeah, that's not too bad, I think. It's maybe a bit weird with the teeth, but then again, a snake chauffeur being the chauffeur for a bird is kind of weird, is it not? So I'm gonna leave the page as it is. I'm just going to put down the date. So it's May. So that's 05/17. There we have it. This is Art Day. I hope you enjoyed watching along. If you have any questions or comments... Oh, I forgot something. The snake doesn't have a reflection in their eye. While I do that, let me do the outro. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you next Monday on a new art day, and I will see you on other videos throughout the week, so tune in and join. Have fun, take good care, and if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. That would help a lot. I'm just gonna intensify the black eye and also give it a highlight. There we go. If you want to see the exact materials that I used, hop on over to my blog. There is a blog post for this project, including close-up photos and a list of all the exact color names of the Schminke colors that I used and what that thing is called and stuff. So it's all gonna be there. And enjoy, have a wonderful day. And I hope to see you on the next video. I would very much like that. And now this needs a dot and another tiny one. Ta-da! There we go. That's that. I'm finished. I'm gonna see you next week. Bye-bye, folks. Have a wonderful day.